Well, folks, once again, across the deep south, we're dealing with another winter weather event that is now coming in. Right now, Doppler radar, notice how most of that snow starting right there at the I-55 Highway 82 corridor over in Winona. Their area is already getting some snow. But then as we get closer into the rush hour, mainly by 5 or 6 o'clock, most of that snow is going to continue to move eastward along the Highway 82 corridor, and it's going to definitely impact the Golden Triangle area. So areas of West Point, Starkville, and Aberdeen, we're definitely going to experience some snow across that area. In fact, right now across the Golden Triangle area, we're dealing with some flurries that went from light snow, but then as we get closer, once again to the rush hour, those snowflakes are going to have a tendency to get just a little bit heavier. Right now, afternoon temperature starting at 39 degrees, but it's going to feel just a little bit cooler at 31 because of the gusty winds coming out of the north right at 14 miles an hour. So notice how in most of the northern part of the state, right there at Tunica, they got a temperature of 27 degrees, mainly because they already started with the snow event. So, of course, it's already going to be cooler. But notice how right here in the Delta at Greenville and Greenwood, they're right at 28 degrees. But we're just a little bit not right there across the highway, along the Highway 45 corridor, 30 in Tupelo, but we're 39 right along the Golden Triangle, but just once again, as we get closer to rush hour, those temperatures are definitely going to cool down. So to the big picture, with the wind chills, it's definitely going to cool us down just a bit as we get into the teens, especially across the Delta. So they're definitely going to see temperatures get right at the 18, 19 degree. But as we get to the big picture, notice how on satellite radar, notice that very well-defined line between the snow and the rain. So mostly anything north of Interstate 20, we're definitely going to see some snow chances. Anything south of Interstate 20 is mostly going to stay right at the borderline between the snow with a mixture of rain. So here's our big picture that's the setup for this evening. Once again, low pressure setting up in the Gulf of Mexico. That is going to bring us our moisture. Cold air is already in place. So once we get these two to come together, once again, like most of the snow events that we have been seeing across the southeastern region, once those two come together, mostly across the northern part of Mississippi, we're going to see a lot of snow. But as we get into the southern portion, this might be going to see just a couple of snowflakes with a mixture of rain. But so as we get down into the core, mainly some accumulations across the state. Notice how mostly in the southern part of the state, going to be mostly rain with a few flakes in the mix. But as we get into the central part of the state, right along the I-20 corridor, they're expecting at least 1 to 3 inches, also with Oktibbeha County in the mix. But as we get farther north, right north from Tupelo, even into Memphis, they're looking at possibly 2 to 6 inches of snow. So travel mostly within the northern and central part of the state is going to be pretty hazardous. So I'll definitely caution that if you're going to be driving anywhere across the state, to definitely take pursuer caution. So for tonight, we're going to get down to about 19 degrees. It's going to be very chilly, but it's also going to feel a little bit cooler because we got those gusty winds coming out of the north at 10 to 15. But then by tomorrow, most of the weather is going to move on out. We're going to get up to about 37, so don't expect for the highs to get out of the 30s tomorrow since we have the Arctic air coming in place. But we're going to have some nice partly sunny skies, but it's going to be much cooler for tomorrow. So the next story, as we get into the beginning part of the weekend, we're going to be on the warming trend. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast, get up to about 44. But those lows are still going to be on the chilly side. But throughout most of the weekend, we go from the lower 50s to the upper 60s. Then as we get into Monday, the high looks around 60 degrees. We finally get out of that freezing degree mark of 39 degrees for the low on Monday. This has been your Campus Connect forecast. Make it a good one.